Welcome back to Fuck Around and Find Out. My name is Julie, and that's how I describe my life's journey. If I didn't fuck around, I would have never found out. I would have never found out how difficult it is to live with a narcissistic partner, or what the signs of gaslighting are. I would have never learned how to cope and deal with my anxiety and my depression. This week has been especially hard. My son got hurt at school, but luckily is okay. My sister got into a car accident, and thank goodness that no one was hurt. My brother-in-law found out he has cancer, and we lost two extended family members. And work was definitely not easy this week. I am lucky and I am blessed to have a circle of friends who love me and support me. And they're not only there for me in the good times, they're especially there for me in the hard times. I am extremely blessed to have a partner that, although he lives what seems to be a million trillion miles away, is supportive and kind and loving. He has definitely shown me what it's like to be truly loved. He motivates me. I didn't always have that. Throughout my marriage, my feelings were always dismissed. I was basically told to suck it up, buttercup, or get over it, or that I shouldn't feel that way. That's not what a loving and supportive partner does. I was a loving and supportive wife. Although my husband, ex-husband now, had put me through hell, had made me struggle, was the reason of my sadness and my anxiety. When he needed me because he was struggling with the loss of his mother and his grandmother, I was there for him. He had recently just started work, a full-time job finally. He had been out of work for so long that we were financially struggling. But he had asked, I say asked very loosely, he had told me that he was going to take another 2 weeks off work because he needed it. And I told him, I got you. We can get through another 2 weeks. Just be okay. Let's get you okay. Well, 2 weeks were the longest 2 weeks of my life because it wasn't 2 weeks. It turned out to be that he was off work for 2 years. For a very long time, I struggled with the thought, was he really depressed? Did he not know how to cope with what had happened? Or did at some point he just took advantage of the situation, took advantage of me doing everything to put a roof over our head and food in our bellies? I say that because when he first took the time off, he was talking to me about how sad he was, and he was sharing his thoughts. He was still doing things around the house, whether it was helping with cooking dinner or taking care of the kids, getting them their baths and bedtime routine. But that changed. He stopped doing everything around the house. And I thought, wow, he's in a really bad place. He was playing video games all the time. He told me that it was his way to escape, a way to get out of his head. But month after month, it just progressively got worse. He became so addicted to the game that the only conversation that he would have with me was about where he was ranking in the world or what new thing he had figured out. When he was online with his friends, he was laughing and joking. That became his whole world. The loving and supportive wife was turning bitter and angry. I was struggling. I had to turn to payday loans to try to get through to the next week. And if you know anything about payday loans, you take payday loan after payday loan, and you really just dig yourself into one fucking hole. And when the payday loans weren't enough, I started selling my personal belongings. I sold all of my jewelry. He knew this, but it didn't faze him. It didn't get him off his ass to go find a job. Instead, after that first year, he started having friends come over. They were drinking and laughing and having good old times while I was trying to sleep to get to work the next morning. They were out in the living room playing video games and playing card games. Something changed. All of a sudden, something changed in my ex husband. He was a little more loving and a little bit more attentive. And I thought, okay, well, he's getting better. He's going to get a job soon. Well, I came to discover that that was a big fucking lie. I stumbled across that him and his friends had started doing cocaine. So when I was in sleep at night, that's what they were doing. They were partying up and doing cocaine. It was the effects of the drug that had changed his behavior towards me. I was mad. There were so many nights that I would go to bed and I'd cry myself to sleep or yell and scream in the shower. He had already put me through so fucking much in those first 15 years of our marriage. Things were finally supposed to get better. He had promised me that things were going to get better, that we were going to work on our marriage, that things were going to be okay. Now it was God's plan to take his mother and his grandmother when he did. Changed the dynamics of our family. I don't know for a fact if he actually struggled with depression. I know that he was sad for some time. And I know that people deal with depression and anxiety in very different ways. It's tough. It's hard. Not only what it does to a person, but what it does to their family members. I will never truly have the answers. Did he take advantage of the situation? Well, I know now that I was dealing with a narcissist. He may surely have taken advantage of the situation. I finally had enough. We were not going to be able to pay the mortgage for another month. I had nothing left to sell. The payday loans were tapped out. There was no way to get any more money. I couldn't make any more money. There was nothing more that I could do. How could this man not see this? I finally gave him an ultimatum and I told him that I couldn't live like this anymore, that he needed to get back to work, that he needed to support this family. We had conversations about him getting professional help, which he denied. Once I gave him the ultimatum, I came home the next day from work and there was a letter on the bed. And the letter explained to me that he was sorry, that, that he had turned to video games and that that was his life. That we were to blame. That word we in the letter just infuriated me even more. How was it we? I didn't have time to process the fact that I felt that I could have done more to save my mother-in-law. I just had to keep going. I had sold everything. I had done everything. I was there for you. So how were we to blame? We had a conversation that night. And he said that he was going to get back to work and that everything was going to be okay. He had apologized profusely for putting me through what he had for the past 2 years. He said he was truly sorry, but we were going to work on our marriage and we were going to get financially, we were going to be okay again. That it was going to take time, but we were going to be okay. And he did. Within the next week, he did find a job. And that just started a whole slew of problems. The first few weeks of him working were great. He came home and he was excited. He was motivated. I really felt like everything was going to finally fall into place. And then I found out that he was having an affair. So we just went through 2 years of hell, of you having a partner who was doing everything to make sure that you were okay. And I was rewarded with him going back to work and starting to have an affair. I thought life isn't fair. And that's where my depression and my anxiety hit an all-time high. I have what they call functioning depression. I could get myself up and get to work, but I was like a zombie. My kids didn't deserve the mom that they had at that time. I was just going through the motions. I was cooking and cleaning and reading them their stories, but I was emotionless. My kids didn't deserve that. I still live with that guilt. That for maybe about 6 to 8 months, all I ever really wanted to do was sleep. I wanted to leave. I wanted everyone to leave me the fuck alone. I didn't respond to text messages. I didn't talk to my friends or my family. I had closed myself off to the world. I was in a bad place. I was doing what I needed to do, but I wasn't me. I wasn't happy. It took me a long time to figure out what I needed to do to become happy. I'm going to share that with you guys in another episode because the truth of the matter is, the next 6 to 8 months after he started working again and I found out about that affair, things got worse before they got better for me. I pray and I hope that if you struggle with anxiety or depression, that you have coping mechanisms. And if you don't, that you have a support system. And if you truly need help, that you are willing to seek professional help. Not only to make sure that you're okay and that you're in a good place, because it doesn't just affect you, it affects the people around you. They worry about you. They worry about you. So please, if you need help, I pray that you find the help you need. Just know that you're not alone in this world. Reach out. Like I said earlier, I am very blessed that I'm in a really good place now, that I have my family and a really amazing circle of friends and a loving and compassionate partner. I've learned my safe places, and I know that I can talk to people. I wish everyone a happy day, and just know that after a storm, there's a rainbow. And when a door closes, a window opens. And I know this is all cliche, but I was a woman who I thought when my world had changed, had collapsed, that I would not recover. But let me tell you, it took many years, but I'm okay. After everything I've been through, I'm okay. And you're going to be okay too. If you want to continue on this journey with me, please hit the subscribe, hit the like, and find out more next time.